Hello students, welcome to English class. Today let's deal with literature reader, that is Footprints Without Feet. And the lesson is also the same, Footprints Without Feet. The author of this lesson is H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells is best remembered for his science fiction novels and is often called as the father of science fiction. He had written many famous novels like The Time Machine, The Invisible Man, etc. Children, if you observe the title carefully, the title Footprints Without Feet suggests that the man is invisible because we know that footprints can't be made without feet. Can a man become invisible? Children, can this happen in the real life that can a man become invisible? This is a story of a scientist who discovers how to make himself invisible. So in the story you are going to read about a scientist who had discovered a rare drug and by consuming it he had made himself invisible. Does he use or misuse his discovery? And let's see whether the scientist had used his discovery for the betterment of the society or for his personal advantage. Children, let's get into the lesson. The two boys started in surprise at the fresh muddy imprints of a pair of bare feet. What was a barefooted man doing on the steps of a house in the middle of London? And where was the man? So the lesson starts with the two boys who were surprised to see fresh muddy imprints. And why were they surprised to see fresh muddy imprints? Because the imprints were of a pair of bare feet. Here bare feet refers to a person who did not wear any kind of footwear like slippers or shoes. And further they were thinking, what was a barefooted man doing on the steps of a house in the middle of London? And where was the man? So the two boys were surprised as they could see the footprints, but they were unable to see the man. As they gazed, a remarkable sight met their eyes. A fresh footmark appeared from nowhere. As the two boys were observing carefully the footprints to find out whose footprints were those and to find out the person. So as they were observing, in front of their eyes, as they were looking at the footprints, they have seen a fresh footmark had appeared, but they couldn't see the person. Further footprints followed one after another, descending the steps and progressing down the streets. Further, they followed the footprints as they were eagerly interested to find out how the footprints were formed, and the footprints were going down the street of London. The two boys followed, fascinated, until the muddy impressions became fainter and fainter and at last disappeared altogether. The two boys followed. Children, here fascinated means strongly attracted and interested. Here the two boys were very much interested to find out how those footprints were formed. So they started following the footprints until the footprints have got disappeared altogether. The explanation of mystery was really simple enough. So here the author says that the explanation of the mystery here, it's not a mysterious thing, it's very simple explanation. The bewildered boys had been following a scientist who had just discovered how to make the human body transparent. So the confused boys, they were following a scientist. What kind of a scientist? The scientist who had just discovered a drug which can make his body transparent. Isn't it interesting, children? Let's go further. Griffin, the scientist, had carried out an experiment after experiment to prove that the human body could become invisible. So here the scientist is Griffin. So Griffin was the scientist who had made number of experiments, and at last he had proved that the human body could become invisible. Finally, he swallowed certain red drugs and his body became as transparent as a sheet of glass, though it also remained as solid as glass. So finally, he got the red drug and he had consumed it, and by consuming it, his body has become as transparent as a sheet of glass and it remained as solid as glass. That means you cannot see the person who had taken the drug, but if you touch, you can feel that person. But to touch the person, it's very difficult. Brilliant scientist though he was, Griffin was rather a lawless person. So here author says that Griffin was a brilliant scientist. Children, brilliant means exceptionally clever or talented. Though Griffin was a brilliant scientist, he was a lawless person. Children, lawless means a person who does not obey the law. So Griffin was a kind of person who never followed the rules and regulations laid by the law. His landlord disliked him and tried to eject him. In revenge, Griffin set fire to the house. To get away without being seen, he had to remove his clothes. So Griffin's landlord did not like Griffin. So the landlord tried to send Griffin out of his house. So Griffin wants to take revenge on his landlord. In order to take revenge, he had set fire to the house. And in order to escape from that, he had to remove all his clothes. Thus, it was that he became a homeless wanderer without clothes, without money, and quite invisible, until he happened to step in some mud and left footprints as he walked. So in this way, Griffin had become a homeless wanderer roaming on the roads without clothes, without money, and quite invisible. And when he happened to step in some mud, then he started leaving his footprints as he was walking. Those were the footprints seen by those two boys. He escaped easily enough from the boys who followed his footprints in London. So it was easy for Griffin to escape. As he is the invisible man, it was easy for him to escape. But his adventures were no means over. Children, here adventures means an unusual and exciting or daring experiences. So unusual experiences and daring experiences are yet to happen. He had chosen a bad time of year to wander about London without clothes. It was midwinter. The air was bitterly cold and he could not do without clothes. The author says that Griffin had chosen a bad time of the year to roam around London. Why is it so? Because it was midwinter and it was too cold and it was very difficult to Griffin to roam on the roads without clothes. Instead of walking about the streets, he decided to slip into a big London store for warmth. So now Griffin thought that it's very difficult for him to roam on the roads. So now he decided that he wanted to go to a big London store to get warmth. Closing time arrived, and as soon as the doors were shut, Griffin was able to give himself the pleasure of clothing and feeding himself without regard to expense. So the closing time had arrived, And now Griffin was very happy. Why was he very happy? No need to buy, as he can take away all the clothes without spending money. He broke open boxes and wrappers and fitted himself out with warm clothes. So he had taken out all the boxes and he had selected nice warm clothes for himself. Soon, with shoes, an overcoat, and a wide-brimmed hat, he became a fully dressed and visible person. In the kitchen of the restaurant, he found cold meat and coffee, and he followed up the meal with sweets and wine taken from the grocery store. So what did he do? He had selected all the nice clothes for him. He got a hat. He got fully dressed, and now he became a visible person. Though his parts of the body were not visible, the clothes which he was wearing were visible. So now he went into the kitchen. As he got into the big shopping mall, so he went into the kitchen to find out some food for him, and he was lucky enough to get food. He ate meat, drank coffee, and followed by sweets and wine. And he was so happy to get all such things. Finally, he settled down to sleep on a pile of quilts. So after getting up dressed, he made himself warm, and he had eaten the food and he had filled his stomach. Now he wants to sleep. If finally Griffin had managed to wake up in good time, all might have been well. So now if Griffin wakes up before the shop is being opened, before the assistants of the shop enters, then only he'll be safe. Let's see what's going to happen. As it was, he did not wake up until the assistants were already arriving next morning. So he couldn't wake up. And what happened now? The assistants have entered into the shop. When he saw a couple of them approaching, he panicked and began to run. They naturally gave chase. So when he suddenly woke up, he saw some of the assistants were approaching towards him. Then he got scared and he started running away. And when he started running away, obviously the assistants also started following Griffin. In the end, he was able to escape only by quickly taking off his newly found clothes. So in the end, in order to get rid of the chase, he had to remove all his clothes again. So once more he found himself invisible but naked in the chill January air. So now he is safe as he had removed all his clothes. Now he had become invisible. But as he was naked in the month of chill January, now his problems had started again. It's very difficult for him to bear that cold. This time, he decided to try the stock of theatrical company in the hope of finding not only clothes but also something that would hide the empty space above his shoulders. So now Griffin thought that it's very difficult to stay naked in the chill January. So now he wanted to go to a theatrical company. Children, here theatrical company means related to acting, actors or theater. A shop where you can find so many kinds of dresses, varieties of dresses, artificial beard, artificial mustache, so many other things where you can get those things. And now Griffin thought that if he goes to that kind of shop, he can get all the necessary things to cover the space above his shoulders. To escape without being seen, he callously attacked the shopkeeper from behind, after which he robbed him of all the money he could find. So now Griffin wanted to escape from the shopkeeper. So in order to escape, he had cruelly attacked the shopkeeper and he had taken away all the money from him and he went away. Eager to get away from crowded London, he took a train to the village of Iping where he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. So now Griffin felt that he cannot continue his stay in London. So he took a train and he had booked 2 rooms in the local inn of a village called Iping. The arrival of a stranger at an inn in winter was in any case an unusual event. A stranger of such uncommon appearance set all tongues wagging. So here, the event of a stranger coming and staying at the inn in the winter night was not a normal thing to happen in Iping. And everybody started talking about it also because Griffin looked very strange. Children, here set all tongues wagging means talking about that particular person or thing. Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, made every effort to be friendly. But Griffin had no desire to talk and told her, "My reason for coming to Iping is a desire for solitude. I do not wish to be disturbed in my work. Besides, an accident has affected my face." So now the landlord of the inn where Griffin wanted to stay was Mrs. Hall. Mrs. Hall made a lot of efforts to be friendly with Griffin, but he did not want to talk. He clearly told her that his reason for coming to Iping was for peace and quietness, and he did not wish to be disturbed in his work. Also, he told her that an accident had affected his face, due to which he had to cover it. Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist, and in view of the fact that he had paid her in advance, Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse his strange habits and irritable temper. So now Mrs. Hall accepted that her new guest was a strange scientist and was ready to excuse his temper and strange habits as he had paid her money in advance. But the stolen money did not last long, and presently Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash. So now he had stolen the money from the shopkeeper and he had spent all the money. Now he don't have money. He pretended, however, that he was expecting a check to arrive at any moment. Shortly afterwards, a curious episode occurred. So he pretended to Mrs. Hall that very soon he is going to receive a check, and immediately a curious incident has happened. Let's see what's that. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by noises in the study. So one day, early in the morning, clergyman, children here, clergyman means a male priest, and his wife were awakened by the noise. They heard some kind of noise early in the morning, and they both woke up. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. Without making any noise and with a poker grasped firmly in his hand, the clergyman flung open the door. "Surrender!" So slowly they went down the stairs and they have checked the clergyman's desk and they heard some kind of noise from that place. So the clergyman had taken the poker immediately. Children, here poker means a metal rod with a handle used for prodding and stirring an open fire. He took the poker immediately in his hand and flung the door open, and as soon as he opened the door, he said, "Surrender," as he thought he had caught the thief. Then, to his amazement, he realized that the room appeared to be empty. He and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtains and even up the chimney. There wasn't a sign of anybody. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was missing. To their surprise, who were surprised here? Yes, the clergyman and his wife. They were surprised that they couldn't see anyone. They looked under the desk, behind the curtains, and also up the chimney, but the person was nowhere to be seen. Yet the desk had been opened and the housekeeping money was gone. Extraordinary affair, the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day. But it was not as extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. The landlord and his wife were up early and were surprised to see the scientist's door wide open. So now the clergyman kept on saying the whole day extraordinary affair because he was shocked by the incident, but the things that happened with Mrs. Hall's furniture were much more fascinating. Mrs. Hall and her husband woke up very early and were surprised as the door of the guest room was open. Whose door was open? Yes, the scientist's door was wide open, which generally every time it used to be closed, and that time they have seen his door was opened. Usually it was shut and locked, and he was furious if anyone entered his room. The opportunity seemed too good to be missed. They peeped round the door, saw nobody, and decided to investigate. Usually his room's door remained closed and locked. He used to get very angry if anyone tried entering his room. So they thought that it was an opportunity and Mrs. Hall did not want to miss it. They decided to investigate when they saw that nobody was inside the room. The bedclothes were cold, showing that the scientist must have been up for some time, and stranger still, the clothes and the bandages that he always wore were lying about the room. But all of a sudden, Mrs. Hall heard a sniff close to her ear. A moment later, the hat on the bedpost leapt up and dashed itself into her face. So now, when they entered the room, they saw the bedclothes were cold. That means they thought that the scientist have been out of his bed a long time ago. And they have seen the bandages, his clothes lying on his bed. And now they thought that why were they lying on his bed, as he used to wear those things every time. Now all of a sudden Mrs. Hall heard a sniff. Children, here sniff means draw up air audibly through the nose. So she heard the sniff close to her ear. And suddenly, to her surprise, what happened? The hat which was on the bedpost, it started moving in the air and hit her face. Then the bedroom chair became alive. Springing into the air, it charged straight at her, legs foremost. As she and her husband turned away in terror, the extraordinary chair pushed them both out of the room and then appeared to slam and lock the door after them. So now, to their surprise, they saw the chair in the room dashed itself, hitting Mrs. Hall in her legs. As they got scared, Mrs. Hall and her husband were going out of the room when the chair closed the door, and suddenly a sound of slamming the door and locking were heard. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysterics. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits and that the stranger had somehow caused these to enter into her furniture. My poor mother used to sit in that chair, she moaned. To think it should rise up against me now. The feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft. So now this terrorized Mrs. Hall, and she was about to fall down from the stairs. Now Mrs. Hall was convinced of the thought that there were spirits in her aunt's room and that the stranger had caused this to happen. She mourned that her mother used to sit in the chair which hit her legs and thought that how could it raise up against her. Now the neighbors of Mrs. Hall thought that it was witchcraft which caused such a thing to happen. But witchcraft or not, when news of the burglary at the clergyman's home came known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected of having had a hand in it. Suspicion grew even stronger when he suddenly produced some ready cash, though he had admitted not long before that he had no money. The village constable was secretly sent for. So now, when the news of the burglary at the clergyman's house reached other people in the town, everyone started suspecting the strange scientist. Suspicion grew stronger on him when he produced ready cash for his payment at the inn, even though he had told some time back that he did not have money and was waiting for a check to arrive. So now the village constable was called for, and Mrs. Hall did not want to wait for him. Instead of waiting for constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist, who had somehow mysteriously appeared from his empty room. "I want to know what you have been doing to my chair upstairs," she demanded. "And I want to know how it is you come out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room." Now, Mrs. Hall could not wait until the constable had arrived, so she went to the scientist's room and she started questioning him that how he had came out of the empty room and what did he do to the furniture. She was so upset with the chair, as she was so attached to the chair that her mother used to sit in that chair. The scientist was always quick-tempered. Now he became furious. "You don't understand who or what I am," he shouted. "Very well, I'll show you." So now, when Mrs. Hall questioned the scientist, he became furious, as he was always quick-tempered person, and he started shouting at her that she doesn't understand who or what he was, and now he wanted to show her. Suddenly, he threw off bandages, whiskers, spectacles, and even nose. It took him only a minute to do this. So in anger, he removed all the bandages, whiskers, what all he had covered with on his face. He removed all the things, and it just took 1 minute for him to do all this. The horrified people in the bar found themselves staring at the headless man. All the people who were observing this, they got horrified, they got worried, they got tensed by seeing a person who don't have head. Mr. Jaffers, the constable, now arrived and was quite surprised to find that he had to arrest a man without a head. So here Mr. Jaffers was the constable who had come to arrest Griffin. And by seeing Griffin without head, he got shocked. But Jaffers was not easily prevented from doing his duty. If a magistrate's warrant ordered a person's arrest, then that person had to be arrested with or without his head. So now Mr. Jaffers thought that how to arrest the person, and later he thought that still he wanted to do his duty, as he knew that a magistrate wanted him to arrest the person. And it did not matter that he had head or not. There followed a remarkable scene as the policeman tried to get hold of a man who was becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after another. So now all the people, they got surprised, especially Mr. Jaffers wanted to arrest the scientist. But what's happening now? The scientist was becoming more and more invisible as he was removing one garment after another. Finally, a shot flew into the air, and the constable found himself struggling with someone he could not see at all. Some people tried to help him, but found themselves hit by blows that seemed to come from nowhere. So now Jaffers was struggling to arrest a man who had become completely invisible. People who tried helping Jaffers were also struggling as they were hit by blows from nowhere. Children, can you guess who was hitting them? Yes. In the end, Jaffers was knocked unconscious as he made a last attempt to hold on to the unseen scientist. So now, as Jaffers made his last attempt to catch hold of the invisible man, he was knocked unconscious by the invisible man. There were nervous, excited cries of "Hold him!" But this was easier said than done. So all the people were shouting, "Hold him, hold him." So here the author says, but this was easier said than done. That means it's very easy to say to hold him, but it's very difficult to hold him, isn't it? As he has become invisible, it has become a difficult task for them to catch the unseen scientist. Griffin had shaken himself free and no one knew where to lay hands on him. So once again, very easily, Griffin had made himself free. He became invisible and he had escaped from that place. So with this, we have come to an end of the lesson. Hope you all understood the lesson. Thank you, children.